There were 14 men that fought in Sir Duncan the Tall's trial. But out of all of these fighters, who stands above the rest as the best warrior in the Trial of 7?
We're going to be deliberating that. 14 men. Don't get too excited, guys. 14 men. I heard that. I got excited too. But we're going to be ranking these guys. Let us know in the comments who you think is the number one fighter that participated in the Trial of 7 before we get started. How we're going to do this exactly is we're going to have it gauntlet style, kind of like the tourney at Ashford. We're going to have 5 guys, 5 fighters that we start with. These 5 fighters are going to be Dunk, Lionel Baratheon, Maekar, Baelor, and Aerion Targaryen. And we're going to introduce a new challenger from amongst the 14 and see if that challenger can knock one of these 5 out of the top spot. By the end, we're going to have a team of 5 of the best guys, and then we will do a final ranking to determine who is that number one fighter.
Yeah, we'll see if you guys are good. If you behave, if you comment and like, yeah, we'll maybe rank him at the end. But first one up here, Daeron Targaryen, Prince Daeron Targaryen. Put some respect on his name.
Yeah, right,
there,
dude.
Gator. Do you think this guy, who's known for his warrior prowess, do you think he's able to best one of these 5 off, or how does he slip in there?
Yeah, dude, I'm thinking of that like Alex Jones meme, he's like, patriot, but mental retard. I kind of feel like Daeron's almost the mental retard in that situation. I don't know. Maybe he's not retarded, but he's one of the useless ones. Let's just say, whichever one of those Alex Jones ones you determine to be the most useless, I think it's Daeron. He went into the fight just to lose, so he does not count. He's out.
Okay, next one, Humfrey Beesbury, the yellow mustache man that we all come to know and love, but then eventually dies here. Should this just be a rule? If you die, unless I guess you're Baelor Targaryen, if you die here, you probably shouldn't be on the list.
It probably shouldn't be. I mean, dude, Humfrey Beesbury, his drip alone gets him some stripes. His casket was goated, but he died. I mean, what do you say? He can't count.
Yeah, I mean, he had 13 tilts against his brother-in-law, which they didn't even bring that up, that he's actually brother-in-laws with the other Humfrey, when they actually had their battle of the Humphreys between Humfrey Hardyng and Humfrey Beesbury.
Right.
But he is a decent jouster, and that's like, dude, I was kind of getting hyped. Let's see this guy. And he dies immediately. So Rest in Honey, our guy, which maybe we should make some merch.
Yeah.
Make some merch. Rest in Honey.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
The other guy who massively takes an L in this fight is a knight of the Kingsguard, Willem Wylde. I don't know. I'm looking at these top 5. He's a member of the Kingsguard. I would want to, in a perfect world, bump off Dunk or Aerion. But this guy is knocked out, and we really know nothing about this guy other than the fact that he is part of the villain origin story of Quentin Ball. But
right.
Willem Wylde gets injured, has to be like basically
he's carted off
unconsciously.
Yeah.
I don't think he makes the top cut, and I don't know how good of a fighter he is.
He could be a Nepo baby for all we know. There's a lot, over the Westeros history, honestly, there are a lot of Nepo babies who just get in on their name and not necessarily the qualifications, so absolutely not. We see nothing from this guy. He performed pathetically. He's an absolute disgrace to the uniform. Get him out of there.
Let's do a 2-for-1, okay? The Fossoways, Steffon and Raymun Fossoway. I love both these characters. They're great in the series, but what we know about Steffon is that he picks his opponents wisely, and he also tries to pre-injure them before he actually fights them later on. That's the extent we really know of his prowess as a fighter. Raymun, I think the only reason why he is as good as he is in this fight, stepping up toe-to-toe with Steffon, is because he knows Steffon. If Raymun went up against any of these other guys, I guarantee you he's taking a massive L. He's getting his mud hole stomped in. As much as I like Steffon as a fighter or a potential fighter and kind of a shitty badass, I still don't think he's able to beat any of these top 5 up here.
Absolutely not. I mean, the whole game plan, like you're saying, he embodies this, like, it's got to be one of the most generic archetypes of all time, like a fighter who tries to injure their opponent beforehand or just have some kind of advantage in the preliminaries, like Bandit Keith from Yu-Gi-Oh, trying to steal Joey's Glory of the King's hand card, so that he doesn't even participate in the tournament of Duelist Kingdom. Come on, guys, Yu-Gi-Oh, you know what I'm talking about. And then, of course, Raymun, he was throwing up from the idea of fighting. He just became a knight in that moment. So, no. I mean, if this was going to be decided on, like I said, drip and armor, then Steffon, he takes the whole tournament. He takes this easily. He's the number 1 spot. But it's based on fighting prowess. So, no, both these guys are out.
Well, we're talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's bring up the Maximilian Pegasus of the Trial of 7 here. Yeah, Robyn Rhysling. Yeah. Oh, hello, donkey boy. I can't wait to get that Aerion on his back. What do you think about Robyn Rhysling? He's like the wild card. I want this guy. You don't like this guy? You don't like him at all?
Dude, are you kidding? Dude, Leo Tyrell handled him with kid gloves, so he didn't hurt him because he like loses his helmet, right? So Leo Tyrell's trying to make sure I'm not going to go first. I'm not going to hit him too hard. Meanwhile, Robyn Rhysling's like he's going as hard as he can. It's just pathetic. And then he takes out Daeron. He takes out Daeron. Oh, I don't want to hurt his heady Betty, so I'm not going to go too hard. Literally kid gloves. And then the guy he takes out is Daeron, who's trying to lose. How is that a wild card?
The wild card aspect of it is the fact that he sometimes gives me the vibe that he would make the face of someone that's trying to bite their ear and touch their fingers with their elbows. You know, like that. And that's scary out there, dude.
It's
scary. When it's you and the warrior and this guy, oh, no thank you.
Well, if you think that's going to help him squeak out a win, that more power to you. But he's definitely not bumping out one of these 5 guys. No way.
No, I don't think so.
Not with that one eye, too. His depth perception's all over the place, dude.
Or it's where you don't want his depth perception.
Yikes.
Okay, well, so we talked about one of the Kingsguard. There's actually 3, which is ridiculous to think about. 3 Kingsguard participate in this. Sir Donnel of Duskendale. Do you think he's able to get in there, sneak in between some of these guys? He's experienced.
Yeah.
And his dad's a really good crabber, a good businessman. Does that bump him up there?
I could see an argument for him bumping off possibly Aerion, maybe. I could see that. The only feat we really have of him is he participated in tournaments in the past. He is a member of the Kingsguard, and he did take out our boy Humfrey Beesbury in a previous setting.
Yes.
So, but again, Beesbury turns out to kind of be a little bitch. So does that really say that Donnel of Duskendale is that strong? Really tough to say. He's a member of the Kingsguard. I would lean toward, maybe bumping off Aerion, to be honest with you. Aerion's not that impressive, and I know Dunk is like really bad at tilting, but if those two, if Dunk and Aerion are on the battlefield like with each other, and they're both bloodlusted, I do think Dunk comes out on top just because he's a tank. So I think Aerion is the weakest link amongst our 5, and I think Donnel spanks him.
We're definitely constrained by the fact these Kingsguard have to hold back during this fight. I don't feel like their heart's all in it.
No.
What I will say, though, is Donnel of Duskendale loses to Humfrey Hardyng in a melee in Maidenpool. So he's not as good as Humfrey, but I just don't know what Aerion has underneath his belt other than he can, execute your horse on command with his joust, right? Rest in piss.
Yeah, dude.
Humfrey Harding's
rest in piss. And you know what? Speaking of Humfrey Hardyng, when it comes to Donnel of Duskendale, so Humfrey Hardyng is one of the final people to talk about, and he did give Donnel a little spanking at a previous melee. I think it was only a year or 2 prior to this, so it's pretty recently.
Yes.
So you got to wonder, why is Humfrey Hardyng performing so poorly here, or at least not as well, because he does die later on from his wounds in this Trial of 7 because he was seriously injured in the regular tournament by Aerion. If he was at full strength, dude, if he was not strapped to his horse, what do you think he would have been able to do? That's the question.
I don't know, but you're simply pretty hard for our guy Humfrey here.
Did you pick that up?
And it's funny because I'm not going to leak DMs. But I reached out to Tom from the fandom. I was like, hey, give me your top 5. Which go ahead, check out their channel. They make great content. Give me your top 5. And he was simping hard for Hardy. I was like, dude, don't you know he freaking died in this fight, you idiot? And he's like, well, come on. It's like, come on, no, this guy died. And I need to know more about him to feel comfortable. I guess the whole discussion here is, Gator.
Yes.
Do we say in a perfect situation he's not hurt, would he beat people? Because I'm more on your side there. But if I'm just looking at the Trial of 7 at this moment at Ashford, I think he takes an L. I don't think he beats these 5, but...
Of course. Yeah, dude, if you're just talking about in his injured state, absolutely. But, dude, Papa Senzu being in there, and, of course, Papa Senzu... He's going to be definitely taking, at the very least, amongst our 5 here, he's definitely taking Donnel of Duskendale to Pound School. Dunk as well, maybe from an intimidation factor, or maybe just an experience factor. I don't know, though, again, because Dunk is kind of a tank. He's definitely taking out Donnel of Duskendale. We know that 100%. He just did it like a previous year. So that's like the safest bump is Donnel of Duskendale.
I don't know. Do we take off Dunk? I know a lot of people are like, no, Dunk is so good. It's like, no, Dunk is not that good right now, at least. He's very green. I think we might have to bump off Dunk and put Humfrey Hardyng in there.
Yeah,
instead.
I mean, there's really no other answer unless, again, because like you were saying at the beginning, we are judging this as kind of a hybrid thing. Even if you want to say that Dunk could maybe tank his way through that, you know what I mean, and just kind of out muscle him, which I do think is very possible. I think he could take that, just bear hug him and squeeze him till he's dead. You have to factor in the jousting, and Dunk is absolute horse shit, on tilts. So... yeah, I definitely... Our tilts hurt, dude. Whoa.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. Roland Crakehall, the other knight of the Kingsguard that comes to Ashford. I think he makes the top 5. He is bigger than all these other guys, and we don't get an exact feat from him, but based off what we know and what we kind of give as a blanket statement about if we just have base level Kingsguardsmen, I think he bumps off Donnel because Donnel lost to Hardyng, and I think Roland Crakehall is moved up there just based off size, because we saw how much of a difference size makes to skill, because Aerion is skilled. He's given all of this training by his father and just like the Targaryen dynasty, right? The capabilities they have to train people. He has that, and he still loses to this borderline retarded giant out there in the mud, right? So if Roland is as tall as that guy or as big as that guy, he's not as tall as Dunk. But if he's bigger, I think that makes a huge difference. I think he bumps off Don Boy up there.
And however you want to weigh this, we do get a quote or a thought from Dunk that this guy's one of the best knights in the realm at the time. So again, I don't know what you want to gauge that on. It's not like Dunk has seen him in action, but apparently that's the word around, the realm. So maybe it's something, maybe it's not. I think that he definitely deserves a spot. Yeah, he is. He definitely is up there.
Okay, so now we have our top 5. Where are you leaning towards immediately?
This might be controversial, but my number, I am leaning toward a number 5 right away. And my number 5, I pray to the 7. 7 help me for saying this, because I don't know what your reaction is going to be, but I think Maekar is number 5. I think Maekar is at the bottom. I think he is. We don't really have any feats from him. All we have are these battle legends, I guess, and none of that really is involving individual combat. We get a couple statements where he's comparable maybe to Baelor Breakspear as a youth, but it's never shown. It's never exemplified. I just don't think anybody else on this list would lose to him in any way you could describe.
Yeah, he's skilled for sure. He's big. He's bigger than his brother, or at least demeanor he has. And yeah, you're right. We don't have a bunch of feats like we do with Baelor Breakspears, because Baelor beats Daemon Blackfire, Daemon Waters, and that's how he gets the name Breakspears. Which, how skilled of a warrior do you have to be to have 2 nicknames? He's known as the Hammer as well as Breakspear, and Maekar is only known as the Anvil, which says what? He can take a beating. It's very bottom behavior from Maekar, which I don't want to put him at the bottom for that. I'm just saying he's durable. That's what they're trying to say about him.
It's a tag along nickname almost. It's Baelor. Oh, dude, that was you're like a hammer. It's you were hitting, this thing over here. This thing. It's Maekar whispers the anvil. Just something sounds cool, right? It could have been a wall too. Maekar the wall. Doesn't sound very cool. At least the anvil is a tangible object, and he wasn't even too happy about that nickname. You know what I mean? He thinks he's kind of a afterthought, which he is, dude. He deserves it.
I just look at Roland and Hardyng. They have to be. I just don't think they're as good as Maekar. I don't think they have the experience Maekar does have. Maekar is going to get along in the tooth, so is Baelor is getting along in the tooth, but I still think he has the advantage versus these guys. I don't know. Let us know down in the comments. Where do you guys put Maekar? We can put him in the middle right now and just see where the rest of this kind of shakes out if you want to.
Well, I don't know, man. I could hear an argument that he is superior to Humfrey Hardyng, potentially. But I think the Crakehall, there's just too much. There's too much in Crakehall's favor for him to lose to Maekar. Maekar has the name. I understand. He's been in these notable battles. But again, we're talking physical prowess as a fighter, not a commander. I don't think so. I don't think there's any justification. It's all hype.
Okay, well, I don't agree,
Maybe
but let's
4th.
just put it in. Let's put him as 4, Hardyng as bottom, you're saying, right?
Yeah, that's the only way I can see it, yeah.
Listen, guys, I'm held against my will here, so I'm not able to.
Gun to his head, gun to his balls. I got 2 guns.
We'll put Maekar 4th. I don't think so. I think Maekar is a number 2 for me at the very least.
Whoa,
not number 1.
At the very least?
Yeah, number 2 at the very least. So Roland then is number 3 then. You think Roland could take out Baelor Breakspear or the Laughing Storm? He has to be number 3 then.
Right, I think so. And I think Baelor, I think it's very difficult to argue that he's number 1. I know people are going to argue Lionel's number 1 because you have this one little line where it's Robert Baratheon is Lionel reincarnated or whatever, but it just can't be true. We know, I don't want to go into spoilers for what's going to happen in the future of, the Dunk and Egg series, but
yeah, no spoilers.
Spoilers, but you know what I'm talking about. His performance in the future, it doesn't make me think he's among the likes of Robert. It just doesn't.
Yeah, and I also think that we have to take in consideration Lionel, what is the military prowess of this guy? Where has he actually seen battles? Has he been battle tested? That's why I want to put Maekar higher there. Is Baelor has seen it all, from tourneys to melees to actual war, and he's succeeded on every level. Think about this. Think about Baelor Breakspear once led into battle. Dornishman along Stormlanders. Imagine that headache. Imagine that headache. They're basically going at each other's necks, and he's leading them into the Blackfire army. So Baelor, just mad respect. I mean, that's more leadership than anything else. But yeah, Baelor's number 1, Lionel number 2. I think that's our top 5.
It has to be. And the Lionel thing, I'll just say this. The only reason why Lionel is as high as he is to me, it's also pure hype, but at least we do have statements for it. Like, Lionel is said to be one of like the fiercest knights at the time. He is said to be similar to Robert Baratheon, even though we know that's not true. He still does have these statements, unlike Maekar, that really doesn't have those statements about him. So that's the only reason. It just sucks because we have very little context for any of these characters in terms of actual feats. But we had our own little trial of 7 just now, and the gods decided this is the correct order.
Look who's laughing now. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and smash that like button.
Or not. We don't care.